Hi guys, we ended the previous video on synthetic division when we were discussing this example, and let's just quickly go over how to write down the answer once again. So after the division, this part is the remainder, the last digit here, and the rest of it decides the quotient. How do you write down the answer now? How do you write down the quotient? See the highest exponent, what power does it have? And take, if it's x cube, the starting power exponent of the quotient will be x square. Where does the coefficient 2 come from? It comes from the first number here. And after x square, we know is x to the power 1, and then 1 has x to the power 0. So the next number comes from this, which is a -1, and then comes the number. And we remember from long division that the answer is written as quotient plus remainder divided by the divisor. Okay, so remainder is 9, and the divisor is x minus 2, which we copy down here. So that is how you write down your answer. 2, the exponent will be 1 degree less than the exponent will be a power less than the highest power of the dividend, so which is 2x squared minus 1x plus 1 and plus 9 divided by x minus 2. Okay, moving on. And if you want to check your answer, this is the method. You can multiply your quotient, which came out to be 2x squared minus x plus 1, with the divisor, which was x minus 2. So you can multiply, you can box multiply these two, and you have your 2x squared minus x plus 1 and x minus 2. And when you box multiply these two, you will get this answer. Add the remainder to it. Remainder was 9. So when you add the remainder to it, you will get this was your dividend. Okay, so that is how you can check your answers. You can before turning your the assignments in, if you want to make sure that every question that you have done is right, then you follow this procedure and you will feel more confident before turning in the assignments. Okay, moving on to the next example. Here in the next example, let's check the dividend first. So our dividend here is the highest exponent. The exponent of the highest power is 3, then 2, and the after x to the power 2 should be x to the power 1, which is missing. So we are going to rewrite our dividend. So 2x cube plus 5x square plus the x1 is missing, so we put the coefficient 0, x plus 9. And we know that this is 9 means 9x to the power 0. So now we write down starting from x cube to x squared to x to the power 1, x to the power 1, and x to the power 0. And what are the coefficients? 2. So we copy down the coefficient here, which is 2. Then the next one is 5. We copy down here. Then the next one is 0. We copy down here. And then the next one is 9. We copy down here. Okay, let's talk about the divisor. Is it ready for synthetic division? Yes, it is a linear divisor, power 1. And the coefficient of x is also 1. So it is ready. So what do? We look at this number. It's a positive 3. We write down the opposite of it, and that is what we start dividing with. Okay, so let's start the procedure. Copy down this 2. Multiply -3 with 2. You will get a -6. Then you know that in synthetic division we add. So 5 plus -6 makes a -1. Now you go to the next one, -3 minus 1 times -1 becomes a positive 3. Now you're going to add 0 and 3, make a positive 3. Next one, negative 3 times 3 makes a negative 9, and then you add 9 and negative 9, it makes a 0. So you see the remainder here is a 0, and this will decide your answer. So the highest the power of x in the answer is going to be 1 less than this power, which is x to the power 2. So we start with 2x square. So so this is an x square. Then after x square, it is x to the power 1, and then 3, which is x to the power 0. But we don't have to write that. We just don't have to write that, and we don't have to write this power 1 also. So where do these coefficients come from? These coefficients, these coefficients they come from 2 goes here, -1, -1, and there is a 3 here, and the remainder is 0. This is a 0, just line just showing the remainder. Okay, so I think by after looking at these 3 examples, you're ready for doing a question now. Just check the divisor, 3x cube, and the x square is missing, so you will fill it in, plus 5x minus 1. Sorry, this is the dividend. Check the dividend and check the divisor. Is it linear? Does x have a coefficient 1? And if yes, then this number, what do you put in here? -1 or +1? Okay, check the above examples and you will get the answer to that. Carefully do this question, and if you get this answer, you are on the right track. Okay, so just do it carefully and look at the examples above again and again if you are not able to do it the first time. And finally, I think you should be able to do it. Okay, now coming to the question, that if there is a polynomial division to be done, what method should we adopt? Synthetic division or long division? Okay, let's talk about that quickly. So if you have a divisor which is linear, okay, coefficient 1, this is a coefficient 1, and the power is also 1, it's a linear divisor. It's up to you. A lot of you might be thinking that synthetic division looks like a much easier method for doing it. So it's totally up to you if you feel more comfortable with long or synthetic. But what if the divisor is not linear? This is a quadratic, sorry, this is a quadratic binomial, and you see the coefficient of x is also not, the coefficient here is not equal to 1. So long division, you know how we have practiced doing questions on long division. You can even see this example. But what do we do? How do we use do this question using this synthetic division? In order to do the synthetic division, you will have to break it into linear factors. Okay, you will have to do that. So how do we break any polynomial, any quadratic binomial or any other polynomial into linear factors? You will have to recall factoring a bit. And look at this. First, I'm going to take the divisor. This is just the divisor. Okay, we're not doing anything to the dividend. So this is just the divisor, and I'm trying to factor it into linear factors. So you can take the GCF 2 out. So 2x square minus 8, the GCF 2 out, it becomes x square minus 4 inside. And after that, you can use the difference in square methods or the x method. So if you use the x method, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 0, and c is equal to -4. And if you use the x, your AC is -4, AC is -4, and B is 0. So the two numbers that multiply to -4 and add up to 0 are -2 and 2. So you get your two factors, -2 and 2. Okay, once you have the factors, then it is up to you. You're going to start dividing your polynomial one by one. With the first factor first, it's up to you. You can use any of the three factors first, 2x minus 2x plus 2. This doesn't need synthetic division because it's not a linear binomial. It's just a number. You can divide it regularly. Every coefficient gets divided by 2. But I'm going to start dividing by this factor first. You use a synthetic division, get your answer. That answer you divide by the second factor and get your answer again. So, and then you divide the final answer by 2. So this way you have to do 3 steps in order to get to your final answer, which you got the same answer. The long division also gave you x plus 2 as the answer. And like the long division also gave you x plus 2 as the answer. And the synthetic division also is giving you the, so you have to break your divisor. If the divisor is not linear, break it into linear factors, and then you pick and choose which one do you want. If it is just a number, just divide it. Don't use synthetic division, every coefficient divided by that number. And then you can use the first factor, the first linear binomial to divide the divisor by the synthetic division method, and the answer of that you have to divide it by the second factor, and you get your final answer. So I have done this first. So -2, it became a +2. I got my answer. I wrote down 1 degree 1 less than the dividend. After that, I used that as my dividend and use the next factor and divide it by the next factor. And then I got my answer. The degree of my answer is 1 less than the dividend. So it was x squared. This is x. And then I got the final answer. I still had one factor 2 left, which I had not divided the dividend by earlier. Now I divided. So 2x plus 4, 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. And I hope by now you have seen enough examples of synthetic division. And please, please, please come for the live sessions. I will go over all these questions once again. We all will go over questions, whatever your doubts are regarding the videos, and if you want to discuss something more. So do not miss the live sessions. We'll be waiting for you there. Thank you.